one shot, Sheriff.
Yes. All right, Damon, it's good to talk to you again. And I gotta tell you, man, I really enjoyed The Flood. And matter of fact, I talked with Brandon Slagle a couple of weeks ago about it, and I think he and I are like a good buddies at this point. 'Cause I've talked to him quite a few times, and he said he had so much fun doing this movie. So it was overall, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy to hear that the work that we created, you were able to enjoy. That's, I think, one of the most beneficial things for us as independent filmmakers, not studio filmmakers, the
Right.
indie guys, to enjoy what we just created.
Yeah, that's what I like about indie cinema. I mean, I feel like I like a good popcorn film now and again. You don't have to take anything too seriously with this. And
Yeah.
this one, you just enjoying the ride. That's what it is. Like that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, and it's you start with Brandon Slagle, killing his wife Devaney.
I know.
Like, what, how exciting that could be. You take a great actress like Devaney, and the director just puts her and has the alligator spinner. It's exciting.
It is. Like, I know. That's what I was telling him. Like that's a better way to. That's a great way to start the movie off. Killing her, and he's like, she wanted to do that. She wanted to get killed.
She's a trooper. She's so amazing. Yeah, what a wonderful person.
She is. And this movie had a great cast too. I mean, Nicky Whelan was great. I like that she played a kick-ass sheriff in this, and Casper Van Dien as the reluctant. He's of course he's a cop killer, but he has this. He did it for a reason. It
Yeah,
wasn't intentional. And Louis Mandylor, I can't say enough about him.
he's
I
so
mean,
good.
he's just at this point he's legend in my book. I mean,
Yeah, he is.
he just does so much.
He is. And I love the fact you mentioned those three people, because those three actors are some of the most genuinely nice human beings. Plus, their level of talent is so phenomenal. You bring them in a place that is confined with a lot of water. It's muggy. It's like water's coming in, going out, and they have good attitudes. They're happy to be there. They make all the small details easier for us because they're getting in it. They never had a problem getting wet or getting thrown or hooking up to wire work, or they were so immersed in the art of this. I'm so happy that we were able to have them in our film.
Exactly. And like the fact that Nikki like got to beat up two guys like bigger than her.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, Brandon was telling me like she really studies that stuff. You don't want to mess with her, but she really gives like 100. She gave like so much to that role, 125% that she gave to it. And, I'm glad that we're now getting these more female like action hero types, these protagonists, and we need more of that nowadays. It's not like the old heyday, like back
Yeah.
in the 80s and 90s where you always had like a female action hero, that waned down for a while. But now like we're getting a resurgence of that, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's exactly where my slate has been going to, is the female action hero, the female, like, really cool, bad, amazing person, like not bad isn't bad, but bad isn't good. Um, hero. That's so fun. And I remember in this movie, Nikki was even training with one of the Muay Thai professionals before, Jade.
Yeah.
So she was training and going and just really working it and practicing all her moves and stuff. So I'm so grateful that we have somebody that's so dedicated to practice.
Yeah, as well as Lewis, and I mean him and Casper as well, because I know they're also they have a background as well. Because I remember talking to Casper a few years ago when he did the movie with Ryan Phillippe, and he said that he has a background. He was training in Taekwondo, and
Yes.
then Lewis, he knows Muay Thai, boxing, karate, and their fight scene. I was like, that really shocked me because I couldn't believe they moved like that with all the water that was rising above them, and they still managed to perform like these crazy fight scenes, like right in the, these
Yeah.
techniques right out of the water. And the
And
fact
then,
that Lewis had to wear combat boots and still was able to get his leg that high, I'm like,
yeah.
doing a flying knee strike. I was just like, holy, I was like, my mouth was dropping.
those guys wouldn't give up. Like we would be like, okay, are you guys tired? You know, because the elements. You're like water, wet, stunts. They were so into getting this scene that scene that you're discussing. They wouldn't let it, like their passion just made that what it is, because they won't give up until they know that they have like that scene that really makes a mark on people watching the film.
Yeah, and then I was mentioning to Brandon, I'm like, Brandon, tell me those alligators are like either real, like did you bring any real alligators into that scene? Like, no, they're all CGI, but they looked real. That's the good thing about it.
Thank you.
For indie film to have that authentic look to it really made it work, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah, CKVFX. These gentlemen, Paul Knott and Steve, they're amazing artists, and so they had about 4 months on the project, and being able to put together on a budget like we had to the level of VFX that they did, we're very grateful for that, because we're still a low budget film.
Yeah, and of course you shot in Thailand, which of all places, and disguised as New Orleans, but I mean that's something as well. I know Brandon mentioned that he shot another movie in Thailand just before that, the Battle of Saipan, and which I still need to see. I would want to
Oh,
see
you're
that.
gonna love it. It's so good. Yeah.
And
You're gonna
yeah, he said like all the Thai crews look like the nicest people to work with. They gave it their all as well, and that says a lot.
Yeah, it's really about like film family. I always stress film family because filmmaking is like an extremity. You're working these long hours, people's moods go up and down. You're doing these scenes that are intense. You're working in water. You really need to have that family around you that will support each other, not knock each other down. So it's like that positive vibe, positive attitude is so important for independent filmmaking.
That's awesome. Were you on the set at all, or did you do everything
Yeah.
from you're on the set?
No, I was. So I ramp up like, so day one, I'm there. I'm like there at the start of the day to the end of the day. Day two, maybe I come in a little later, maybe I sleep in another hour, go home a little earlier. As the show continues and I see the team is really coming together, that's less time that I need to be there to oversee. And my rock star co-producer, Amy Covell, can really run it. And I leave a lot of the responsibility on the physical running of the set to her, as I see the unity of the team. And if sometimes there are issues, and those are the times that I really need to be there. So, or if the scene is very extreme, super hard, difficult, I'd be there for that too, just in case we need uh to react to something, change the scene up a little bit. Maybe we're not getting what we thought we were going to get, so
Yeah.
we need to do a little rewrite. But I got to be there for that.
Oh, that's good. Now I'm knowing how a producer works. And sometimes you hear producers, they just do their thing from like afar, and they look at the dailies and that's it, depending on
Oh
what's going on.
yeah.
But you're one of the ones who comes in and like you're there. If you need to be there, you're going to be there, and it's kind of like you help the team, and I think that's what producers should do more of, and motivate them, not like act like they're the big boss and all that. You're like, this is my, like you're there as like the team leader in a way, but you also put your faith and trust into the cast and crew, and I think that's what makes a good producer, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you. And that, like, I like to really take care of my crew as much as I can, and be there for them. And then they thrive on their own. You give them the tools, you give them the time. We usually don't have a lot of time because it's a short shoot week, but
Yeah,
they make it. They hit it, and you know, we're just looking for more days soon.
yeah,
Longer,
exactly.
and you can get into some more small details, right? But when you're shooting a water prison flooding movie with a bunch of CGI alligators in 14 days, you're moving. It's like
Yeah,
go, go, go. And you're like, you want to fix this, you want to create this detail a little more, but you can't. You don't have the ability to.
yeah, and I also like the fact that within the cast you got these prisoners who they look like they're working together, but then you got a couple of bad apples who are all looking after themselves. So they
Oh
end
yeah.
up betraying the others. I like that little twist into it as well, because it feels like that's where things really get interesting. Like you really see like who you can trust and who you can't trust. And I like that. I like watching those little twists and turns in the story as well.
Yeah, my favorite characters were that had like that kind of dynamic, which was that it was very specific, was Mike Ferguson, who played Floyd, and
Yeah.
then Jox, played by Randall Bacon, because they were at it, you have two polarizing uh groups that are butting heads, and they're just banter back and forth. So, in a situation like that, and you have people saying these kind of things, they really need to feel comfortable with each other beforehand,
Yeah.
right? So they have to get to know each other before you start saying these things.
Right.
So, they were able to establish and create a dynamic. Then they shifted for the scene, and then afterwards just laughing about it and good friends. So it was really cool. I think that those two dynamics in the movie was, for me, very exciting to see in such a polarizing time we live in, right?
Exactly. And man, overall, this was a fantastic movie. And
Yeah.
man, I guess you just like belting them out, man. You're just belting out all these great indie action flicks. And what's next for you after this?
Yeah, so you'll have 3 Days in Malay that's coming out. That's another Saban. It's a Saban Welgo. So The Flood is Saban Lionsgate,
Right.
and 3 Days in Malay is Saban Welgo. Um, and after that film, we ended up doing Operation Blood Hunt. So Operation Blood Hunt starring John Rhys Meyers, and that has it's a supernatural. It's like a supernatural World War II film where
Nice.
a group of soldiers go in and to a territory in Southeast Asia where the Japanese army is, and there's werewolves. So it's a
Oh,
combination
nice.
of crazy war and werewolves, and like what's going on, and a mysterious treasure that's like connected to everything.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah,
totally
it's
in
a
for
fun
that one.
one.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. The Flood is coming out on July 14th, and definitely this is a definitely fun movie to check out. And just if you want to turn your brain off, you just want to enjoy something fun and wild, The Flood is definitely one of those movies. And
I
David,
appreciate that. We all do. Thank you.
yeah,
Like you taking the time and just like watching it and like treating it for like just a cool little indie film. Fun. That's what it is. Appreciate it.
yeah, exactly. We need more of that. We need more like just a fun indie popcorn flick.
Yeah.
That's all we need more of nowadays.
Yeah.
And again, man, Damon, man, you just keep belting them out. And thank you again so much, man.
But yeah, you're very welcome. I always appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, you take care.
All right. Have a nice day.
All right, bye
Thanks.
bye.
Bye bye.